Hey guys! Milk bread is something I used to love from Chinese bakeries. It's way softer than regular Western bread. Ever think of a slice of plain bread as a treat? I did, if it was milk bread. This recipe is thanks to a special request from a viewer, so my dear, I hope you and your grandma enjoy it. The first part of making milk bread is creating a roux of flour and water or milk. I'm using plain soy milk. Once thoroughly combined, take it to the stove over medium-low heat. You need to continuously whisk this, but I kind of let it sit too long as I was adjusting the camera, so here it gets a little lumpy. But don't worry, we just whisk it until smooth. This mixture is also called Tang Zhong and was first widely publicized in Yvonne Chen's book called The 65-Degree Bread Doctor, which I can't actually read because it's written in Chinese. And I can't read Chinese because I can't. Even though my ethnicity is Chinese, I blame my parents. I wish they forced me to learn Chinese like the other tiger moms and dads. Just kidding. I love them, they're pretty cool. And I was the one who didn't do her homework and practice. So learn from my mistakes, guys. If you get the chance to go to Chinese school or any other kind of language class, please pay attention. Do your homework. It's really cool to learn another language. Anyways, whisk and cook for a total of 5 minutes or until it reaches 149 degrees Fahrenheit or 65 degrees Celsius. If you don't have a thermometer, I encourage you to get one for really precise results, but don't worry about it too much. It should look like this when you're done, really thick and pudding-like. Now set that aside and let it cool. In the meantime, heat some soy milk or your favorite plant milk to about 110 degrees Fahrenheit or 43 degrees Celsius. Again, if you don't have a thermometer, don't worry, just stick your clean finger in to see that it's fairly warm but not burning hot. We don't want to kill the little yeasties that will help our bread rise. Sprinkle in the yeast and a teaspoon of sugar. Wait 10 minutes and you should see some bubbly action. It's alive! But don't worry, yeasts aren't animals. You might find it silly that I have to say that, but yeah, you would probably be correct. Anyways, drop that into a large mixing bowl and add your cooled Tang Zhong. It may be still warm, but just so long as it's not hotter than your yeast mixture, you'll be good. Add in 1 egg replacer. I'm using Energy egg replacer powder mixed with water, but you can also use aquafaba or a flax egg. Flax will weigh down this bread slightly, so you'll have to adjust your expectations if you choose that one. Then add sugar to sweeten the bread as well as salt. Whisk everything together until smooth. Now we can add all-purpose flour. If you have bread flour, you can use that, but I didn't, so I didn't. I'm just weighing the flour as it goes in for recipe instructions, but really you must adjust the amount as you go. Flour can really vary from batch to batch, brand to brand, and also depending on the weather or your climate or the season, you may need different amounts of flour. My recommendation is to go by feel. Add a half cup to a cup at a time, incorporate it completely, then add more if needed. The goal is to get everything to stick into a dough ball. It will be a sticky dough ball as well. Once you have that, you can place it onto a floured surface to knead it. Now, due to my dominant hand being a little wonky lately, don't use this as an example of how to knead bread. But you guys have seen me knead bread in lots of other videos, so I'll let you reference those for now. Knead for about 5 minutes to develop the gluten. This will make for a fluffy, light bread. Add more flour as needed just so it doesn't stick so much to your hands, but try to keep that to a bare minimum to keep the dough slightly tacky. Before going to the next step, I'm going to rest my hands and let the dough rest for 10 minutes. You don't have to, but it makes the next part easier. That is kneading in the vegan butter. Start with a ½ tablespoon. It's a bit messy and weird, but go with it. We didn't add the vegan butter earlier, by the way, because fat can interfere with the development of gluten. Now incorporate that completely and then add more fat and keep going with it. Now, for those of you who are wondering, you can use coconut oil instead, but only use half the amount. Also, if you're avoiding refined fats altogether, just leave out this step, but do knead the dough until it's smooth and elastic. Once all the vegan butter is incorporated, shape your dough into a ball and place it back into the mixing bowl. We're going to let it rise, so cover it with a damp towel or something like that, and put it in a warm, draft-free location for 1 hour or until the dough doubles in size. A good place is in the oven, off, with your oven light turned on. If it is too warm though, you're going to get over fermentation and it will smell alcoholish. So in my case, I left the door cracked open so it doesn't get too warm. This has gotten just a bit bigger than double in size, which is great, so now we can divide it up into 3 equal portions. You can use a scale if you want to be exact, but it's not necessary. Form each piece into a ball. I'm pulling the drier sides in and this moist cut side will stay on the outside. It just makes for nicer dough balls, but again, this is not 100% necessary. Or even 50% if we're going to go with percentage points, which of course have nothing to do with this at all. Once you have your balls, roll them out into long rectangular shapes. I'm folding the sides in so it's more like a rectangle than oval shaped. You want the sides to be about the width of your loaf pan. Then roll up the dough, like a roll, or a fruit by the foot. Man, I used to love those things. I wonder if they're vegan. Anyways, continue with the rest. Before placing the rolls in the pan, you're gonna wanna grease it really well. The pan I mean, not the rolls. I'm using more vegan butter, but go ahead and use coconut oil or anything you like. If you want, you can use parchment paper, though the crust is gonna be different. Then place the rolls in with the seam down, cover it with a damp, clean towel, and let it rise until doubled in size. Now it's almost risen to double, but I've got to preheat the oven, so I'm going to move this out. It's super important to preheat your oven when baking, guys. More important than making sure your socks match in the morning, which I guess isn't that important at all, unless your school or work has a dress code, which I call BS on anyways if they try to dictate the color of your socks, but I digress. Just before baking, brush the tops of the buns with a mixture of water and syrup. I'm using maple syrup, but feel free to use any kind you like. Then when that's done, save the leftover wash and pop the buns into the oven for 20 to 24 minutes until the tops are nicely browned, like this. Brush on a light layer of the reserved syrup wash to give these buns a shiny finish. And you're done! I'm using another pan to turn them onto a cooling rack and resisting as much as possible not to dig in right away. I wish you could smell this because it's amazing. Milk bread is all about the soft, stretchy, pillowy texture, and I believe this vegan milk bread has it. I mean, look at this crumb, just look at it. Amazing, so delicious, so tender, so filled with rainbows and unicorns, but not really since that wouldn't be vegan. I hope you give this recipe a try and let me know what you think. What other bakery items would you like me to veganize? Let me know in the comments below and I might make that one next. Except I think my next bread recipe has to be a no kneading recipe because I need to save my wrist. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe for more easy vegan recipes every Friday and what I ate videos on Wednesdays. Bye for now.